We're back to Aesop's Fables. Here's the next few stories: The Hen and the Fox. The fox was looking for a late supper. He came into a hen house, and through the open door he could see a hen far up on the highest perch, safe out of reach. Here, thought the fox, was a case for diplomacy. Either that or go hungry. So he gave considerable thought to just how he should approach his intended supper. "Hello there, friend hen," said he in an anxious voice. "I haven't seen you about of late. Somebody told me that you have had a sick spell, and I was sincerely worried over you. You look pale as a ghost. If you will just step down, I'll take your pulse and look at your tongue. I'm afraid you are in for quite a siege." "You never said a true word, Cousin Fox," replied the hen. "It will have to be a siege, for I am in such a state that if I were to climb down to where you are, I'm afraid it would be the death of me." That was pretty funny, actually. Beware of the insincere friend. That's a good application. Beware the insincere friend. Here's the lion and the goat. One very hot summer day, when the ground was dry and many streams were dry, a lion and a goat came at the same time to quench their thirst at the same small mountain spring. As they looked up and saw each other, they at once fell to quarreling over which was to drink first of the water. They even forgot their great thirst, so determined was each that he was to have the first drink. Just as they were about ready to fly at each other, they chanced to look up. There, circling about in the blue sky over their heads, they saw a flock of vultures hovering and waiting for to pounce upon whichever should fall in defeat. Grinning foolishly at each other, the lion and the goat said in almost the same breath, "I insist, dear friend, that you shall take the first drink at the spring." Do you get it? They realized they would die if they didn't do something, and that the vultures were there waiting for them. It is better to drink second at the spring than to furnish food for the vultures. Ha! That's pretty cool. Here's the fox and the lion. One day a fox who had never seen a lion was walking in the wood. Suddenly the king of beasts stood in the path before him, and the fox almost died of fright. He ran away and hid himself in his den. The next time he came upon the lion, he merely paused to allow the majestic beast to pass by. The third time they met, the fox boldly approached the lion and passed the time of day with him and asked after his family's health. Familiarity breeds contempt. That's true. The crow and the pitcher. A crow, that's a big black bird, and you hear them going caw, caw. That's a crow. A crow so thirsty that he could not even caw, that's what he says, caw, caw, came upon a pitcher which once had been full of water. But when he put his beak into the pitcher's mouth, he found that only a little water was left in it. Strain and strive as he might, he was not able to reach far enough down to get at it. He tried to break the pitcher, then to overturn it, but his strength was not equal to the task. Just as he was about to give up in despair, a thought came to him. He picked up a pebble and dropped it into the pitcher. Then he took another pebble and dropped it into the pitcher. One by one, he kept dropping pebbles into the pitcher until the water mounted to the brim. Then, perching himself upon the handle, he drank and drank until his thirst was quenched. Necessity is the mother of invention. That's a great one. The Boasting Traveler. A young man who was traveling in foreign parts returned to his home city, where he bragged and boasted to all who would listen of the great feats he had accomplished in the places he had visited. "Why, when I was in Rhodes," he shouted, thumping his chest, "I made the most extraordinary leap the people of that place have ever seen. I have witnesses to prove it, too." In time, his hearers became weary of the traveler's boasts, and one of them said, "These exploits of yours in Rhodes may all be true, but you can save yourself much breath by doing one of those marvelous feats right now instead of merely talking about it." He who does a thing well does not need to boast. He who does a thing well does not need to boast. Very good. Well, here's the last one I'm going to read for today. The eagle, the wildcat, and the sow. Sow, S-O-W, that's a she pig. It's a girl pig. Okay, it's a mama pig. An eagle chose the top branches of an old oak tree for her nest and hatched her young there. A wildcat had selected the hollow trunk of the same tree for her den, where she would raise her little ones. And down among the roots of the old oak, a sow had burrowed a hole where she planned to raise her piglets in comfort. For some time, all three families lived peaceably in the old oak until the wildcat took the notion to start gossiping about her neighbors. Neighbor, she whispered to the eagle, as you know, I have the highest respect for that old sow down there, but if she keeps rooting under this tree, the whole thing will come crashing down some day. That's probably what she has in mind, so she can feed our babies to her litter. Needless to say, the mother eagle was worried. She was so disturbed that she did not dare to leave her nest to go in search of food. Meanwhile, the gossiping wildcat visited the sow. Mrs. Sow, she whispered, I'm no gossip, as you know, but if I were you, I wouldn't leave home today. I overheard the eagle upstairs telling her children they were going to have pork for supper. So the eagle stayed in her nest, and the sow remained with her little pigs. But the wildcat sneaked off every night and got all the food for her kittens, while her neighbors lived in distrust of each other. It is possible that both families would have starved to death had not the wildcat made the mistake of getting caught in a hunter's snare, and the sow and the eagle became reunited in caring for the abandoned kittens. Gossips are to be seen and not heard. Great stories for today. That's it for Aesop's Fables tonight. More later. Bye.